Good evening. In the Chakra Connection, I'll be discussing results from an online survey of chakra experiences that is currently in progress, as well as the possibility that chakras may represent a bridge or connection between the physical and psycho-spiritual realms. The illustration on this slide may be familiar to some of you. Chakras have been the topic of many hundreds of books, with a particular focus on these core chakras, the root or base chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, heart chakra, throat, third eye or brow, and then the crown chakra. And just for some background, just for those of you who have not been following this new age healing stuff, I'll just cover briefly the subtle anatomy of the human body as currently discussed and how it's used by healers, by people healing themselves and healing others right now. There's typically three components: an aura or biofield, composed of subtle bodies or subtle layers, differing density and frequency. For example, the etheric body, emotional body, mental body, astral body, causal body. Some of you may be familiar with the astral body related to out-of-body experiences. There's also a part of the subtle anatomy are the energy meridians in acupuncture, also called nadis or channels in Eastern traditions. They're used to balance so-called the energies of the body. Then finally, there's the chakras, considered to be energy centers controlling the flow of prana or life force, life energy, between the physical body and subtle bodies. Clairvoyants have viewed them as spinning vortices, trumpet-shaped, in this lower diagram, just illustrating that they typically extend in front of them and behind the body as a sort of a cone-shaped. And this is the rainbow colors that are common in Western chakra system. So this is just sort of an overview. And the big question, of course, is where did these come from? Where did chakras come from? Well, they originated in India about 1,000 years ago, part of both Hindu and Buddhist Tantra yoga traditions. And these are actually some illustrations here on the slide, an early diagram of chakras in a Hindu text. And you can actually count them up the center: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chakras, little stars with associated central channels. And then the far right is from a Hindu text, a Hindu tanka tapestry, illustrating 5 chakras with associated central channels. So they're actually, it's an ancient traditions, and they were basically presumably clairvoyantly, visualized and experienced over time. So Tantra yoga makes use of this esoteric physiology or mystical physiology with various components, including the subtle bodies, the chakras, also known as wheels, the nadis or channels, and energies like kundalini and the pranas. So how is it used? How is it used in Tantra yoga? Well, practitioners meditate on the chakras to awaken them. And chakras are basically end up being a map of discrete states of consciousness. So what does this mean? What does this mean? Well, for example, if you were to awaken your solar plexus chakra, you may suddenly be able to converse with spirits, have an awareness of the spirit world, be able to move within the spirit world and see spirits at different places and locales. Another example is the throat chakra. If you basically awaken the throat chakra, you may become suddenly aware of the void, the great stillness that mystics have talked about. Another example is the brow chakra. You may be able to see past, present, and future all as one entity, and be able to see people's karmas. So basically, a lot of these chakras, when you awaken them, they're actually awakening paranormal abilities. But more importantly, they're expanding what's available to the full potential of the human being, their inner potential, what worlds they can interact with. It's a larger world, basically, on the path to enlightenment. In comparison, now we'll look at the Western chakra system, first introduced to the West by the Theosophical Society in 1880, and noted in the reference in the bottom by Leland about his book, Rainbow Body, A History of the Western Chakra System. It really flowered into being during the Human Potential Movement in the 1960s, which was centered in Esalen Institute in California. So the two diagrams on the right are sort of Western chakra depictions. The early one by Leadbeater in 1927, illustrating 7 chakras associated with the central channels. He showed his heart chakra off to the side a little bit, and then he actually showed a spleen chakra, and actually didn't have a sacral chakra. So he actually had a sort of a different system than what's currently known. And on the right is Barbara Brennan, a modern healer, showing the traditional now the rainbow colors of the 7 core chakras, surrounded by an aura, the biofield with the different layers. And so that's sort of basically the classic Western chakra system there on the right. And so how are they used? Well, they're used as a psychological map for self-development and healing. Each chakra is associated with a particular bodily organs, diseases, psychological issues, and spiritual attributes. So practitioners identify which chakras need balancing, and then they use mind-body therapies and corrective actions in the outer world to open and balance the chakras. So this is very interesting. So basically, this is sort of more of an outer approach to the chakras. So we Westerners have a more outer. So we want a full potential in our lives and outer, expand our lives even more fully, basically, and get the most out of life. And so by balancing the chakras, by dealing with particular issues at the different locales, basically, we can be more fully ourselves. And so for example, if someone has addictions, you would probably look at the root chakra, and it basically help them to earth themselves and open up balance that chakra, the root chakra. And also the root chakra is involved with survival issues. Basically, are they feeling threatened at a survival level? So that's why they meant by a psychological map. And so they do energy healing techniques on the chakras, but they're mainly for opening and balancing. They're not awakening chakras. And so, and they're also basically using them as sort of, what is my issues? What are my beliefs tied to this chakra? And, how do I expand my potential in the outer world? So it's very interesting how they're very different, the same, similar chakras, but different approaches. And so that brings up the variability among the chakra systems, not just within the Eastern, within the Western. Many authors have noted, there's a variability in the number of chakras. How many are there? 5 to 142 or more. And for example, minor chakras are accepted in some schools associated with the joints, like the elbow joint and the knee joint, have a minor chakra. Additional chakras sometimes can be dozens above and below the body. All different basically students and schools have viewed the chakras slightly differently. There's also different colors have been reported for each chakra, with rainbow colors widely used here in the West in energy healing. And just how can this be explained? Well, the chakras extend across multiple subtle bodies, bridging the physical etheric body with the astral body with causal body. And so these chakras, if you're having a different perspective of them at different levels of the body, they may appear different. And so this is actually what are my illustrations here. Is the heart chakra may look one way at the top right, physical etheric level, maybe a simple rosette with orange and yellow colors. But at the astral level, you'll have the archetypal associations. And so people actually see this. This is the traditional Hindu version of a heart chakra. People have actually seen some of these, the star and the particular deities associated with the heart chakra and the seed syllable. And so this is sort of more of a different level of information regarding the heart chakra. So that's one source of variability. The other is within the individuals, each of us. Our chakras are all a little different depending on our health or illness, karma from past lives, our spiritual development. And so we might have a different view of them. So that's just this variability is inherent in the fact that we're all vary ourselves. So here's the big one. Is there any scientific evidence for chakras? And to me, the best evidence, and it's very preliminary, was by Hiroshi Motoyama, the parapsychologist. He did a series of preliminary experiments. I have the reference at the bottom in his book, Theories of the Chakras. He was testing emissions from particular chakras. For example, he placed copper electrodes in front of both the Anahata, the heart, and the Manipura, solar plexus chakras in different subjects. And then he would ask them to focus on one or the other. So subject MY was asked to concentrate on the heart chakra and to indicate when she sensed psi energy being emitted from that chakra by pushing a button. And so on the right is have the recordings at the top before she sensed it before she sensed energy emitting. You can see the top is that the heart chakra was already, because she meditates on it regularly, it was already showing oscillations. And in the Manipura, with the solar plexus chakra, was very quiet. It's not one that she had basically awakened, was not one she was working with as a meditator. And so at the bottom, basically she indicated with a, pushing a button, indicated when she felt a difference, emission from her heart chakra at the top. And there was increase in high frequency, high potential energy, difference in the waves at the top. And also there was a light pulse. If you look at the bottom, the photocell there, this is done in a dark room. There was a light pulse from the chakra, or supposedly from the chakra, while she was emitting energy from her heart chakra. So his conclusion from his preliminary experiments is that psi energy working in the chakras can create detectable energy in the physical dimension, which is very exciting, and it really should be replicated. And it's from the 1981 here, so it's been a long time. So it's time for us to look at this again. But anyway, my study here now is I'm looking at the qualitative study of chakra experiences, because I was very interested in wondering if people are actually experiencing what this perfect rainbow body, rainbow, colors. I mean, what are people actually experiencing with the chakras? And so I created a online survey of the chakra experiences survey, and I to compare user experiences with published accounts of the chakras. I was looking at for targeted participants were meditators, yoga students with personal chakra experiences, and healers with chakra experiences during healing sessions. I posted on social media sites, classified sections of New Thought publications. I really tried to get the word out. I had a lot of nibbles. A lot of people would go onto my website, but not actually take the survey. But anyway, I'm jumping ahead here. The survey was divided into 7 parts, one for each core chakra, with questions on images, colors, sounds, and physical sensations experienced by the participant. So it's preliminary, it's still ongoing. Recruitment's been difficult. I have 34 really good respondents, for all the different chakras so far. So I'll share that with you now. So the preliminary results, really three categories: vibrations and pressure sensations, circular sensations, colors, light, imagery. So this is what the participants in the survey, what they've actually experienced. For example, buzzing and heat in the root chakra, vibration and buzzing feeling at my root chakra, tingling sensations in the crown chakra and brow chakra. And tingling sensations are very common, even in healers working with clients too. Sensation of energy movement in the chakra areas and through areas of the body. Warmth and tingling is sort of a signal that energy is moving through an area of the body. One participant noted a throbbing sensation in each chakra, very, very strong intense pressure in a brow chakra, like a headband. And then here's another thing that was interesting that came up, was a sense of tightening at the chakra area, or releasing the chakra if they're doing a meditation. So a spontaneous root lock, the root chakra, or tightening in the throat if they're working with the throat. That was interesting. And then the warmth in the heart chakra. This is a common sensation of doing meditations on the heart chakra, is feeling warmth or heart on fire. But what interested me was, of course, the circular sensations, because remember, the chakras are sort of visualized as sort of a cone or a trumpet, a circular sort of object. And they're often described as basically rotating, spinning. So participants, some of them did note that feeling a spiral of energy pulsing, spiraling energy coming out of my forehead, the brow chakra, swirling wave sensation, circular sensation in the sacral chakra area. Had an extreme spiral of energy around my belly button before kundalini shot up my spine. So those were just sort of interesting. They sort of confirm the circular structure of a chakra. And finally, colors, light, and imagery associated with chakras. Red wavy shapes in meditation. Root chakra is often associated with red. And then one participant said, I saw a web of blue-white light shaped like a trumpet mouth from my sacral chakra. It was static. So they basically saw the classic shape of the chakra as a trumpet. But interesting is blue-white light. Brow chakra, one participant saw deep violet indigo, which is the normal color for brow, but also gold, green, white, and sharp shape-shifting sparkles. Another participant said, with the brow chakra, I see light language quite often, signs and symbols of unknown meaning. I feel light entering from above into the crown chakra. And this is a common thing for working with as a healer, to see light entering into the crown chakra of clients. Kundalini, blue flames out the top of my head, very dramatic. So some good imagery. So conclusions so far are consistent with the popular literature on chakras and Kundalini. Low response rates suggest a need for a different approach, possibly pairing a chakra meditation with immediate feedback via an app, maybe just a single chakra like a heart chakra meditation and then asking for any input. Or probably the classic is in-depth interviews of experienced yoga meditators. I know this has been done for Kundalini, but my focus was mainly on chakras at this point, but I might have to expand it. And finally, the physical sensations of the chakras really suggests that there's some nerves or nerve receptors that are being activated. And people have been very curious about the association of these core chakras with nerve plexuses for a long time. They've noted that there's a lot of nerves at the site of these chakras, core chakras. So this would suggest an actual physical energy that could be measured. And so it would be very good to replicate Motoyama's or test his hypothesis that energy is emitted by awakened chakras. And then finally, I just wanted to throw out some thoughts on the future of the body. People often talk about human evolution. They talk about expanding consciousness and the mind, but it's the body that's also changing also. And that's emphasized in Michael Murphy's book, Future of the Body. And also Motoyama actually also emphasizes it, that there's changes in the body. And we see this with long-term meditators. They have changes in the EEG and their heart rate. They're basically a physiology. And so there is definite changes in the body, but there's also changes in the subtle bodies. So Murphy notes that new substances, effervescences, and energies seem to arise in the human body as a result of transformative practices. So new radiations. And subtle bodies, he states, can be developed so they eventually alter the physical body. Very interesting, the feedback between the two. It's part of our anatomy. The subtle anatomy is that it is part of our anatomy. Chakras and Kundalini may reflect actual development of physical structures that support extraordinary abilities. So part of the psychic abilities, and Motoyama talks about this quite a bit, of paranormal abilities are often sometimes an awakened chakra. So very interesting correlation there. So Motoyama also goes further. He says, chakra awakening is a process which must be undergone if the soul is to evolve and enlightenment is to be reached. So it's just fascinating. So we're embodied spiritual beings, and the chakras are basically help if we develop this body, this other body, it helps develop our physical body and expands our experiences, our potential as human beings. Thank you.